A big difference between the snow bunny and the African queen is the snow bunny will find a black man in progress. She will find him on the job. She will find him on the university. And that snow bunny will see a black man with potential and she will invest in him. She will help him level up. And then
Dr. Umar is speaking straight facts. I hate to say it, but he is right here. And I know a lot of y'all don't necessarily agree with him all the time. That's fine. But on this particular point, he is right. He is definitely hitting on something. I shared with my members a conversation that I had with two Black college students who are pursuing higher education at a very elite, prestigious college, by the way, right? One is pursuing a master's, one is pursuing a PhD. These are very successful, handsome. One is like 6'5", beautiful dark skin, nice hair, nice locks. Like they're just, by all account, they should fit what women would be interested in. But I sat there and talked to them, and they told me how in their college, Black women particularly make it really difficult for them to approach. That Black women oftentimes give them the cold shoulder or just seem completely uninterested. Then they went on to tell me how it is white women, it is Asian women, it is non-Black women who tend to be giving them a lot of attention, whether it's compliments, complimenting them on their outfits, or even apart from romantic interest, just strictly from a platonic point of view, it is these non-Black women who are giving them the time of day. I literally just talked about this with my members. And so now fast forward, I'm seeing this video from Dr. Umar and I'm like, I have literally heard this exact same point from other Black men. But let's continue.
sisters see him 5 years ago, 5 years later, he's a millionaire. And the sisters say, look at that sellout. He went and got a white girl. But guess what? When he was looking for a sister to help him level up, to invest in him, none of them wanted it. You know why? Too many Black women want a finished product. Black women have to, stay with me, Black women have to stop expecting men to be a finished product.
Okay, so on that point, again, I have to say I agree with Dr. Umar on this. Of course, this is not going to be every situation, but we have to understand and be honest about like the culture and the different messages that Black women oftentimes get. I've talked about this before. We get messages on how to be independent. We get messages on how to take care of ourselves. We get messages on how to protect ourselves from men, but we do not really get messages on the value of working together with a man. We don't understand what men do, what they bring to a family, to a community, right? And so I think just by nature of there being a general lack of understanding of what makes up a functional family, let alone a functional marriage, you just have, I think, women who are not taught to know what to look for in a good potential partner or spouse because they didn't see it. Now, other cultures, they have an advantage of that. You know, some of these cultures are coming from places where like legitimately arranged marriage is not too far off. Some of these cultures are coming from places where they just already have their own cultural values with respect to marriage, with respect to the importance of family. Like they have pressure to do certain things. So it's like these other cultures, to a certain extent, they have an advantage and they have an upper hand when it comes to understanding and spotting what a good spouse looks for, because they're being taught from a very young age what's important. They're being shown, they're being demonstrated from a very young age. From that vantage point, I do think he's right. A lot of Black women, they do want a finished product. If that wasn't the case, we wouldn't see such popularity with the sprinkle, you know, the whole sprinkle wouldn't be so popular. We wouldn't see Black women all the time going around talking about how you should not be messing with a broke dusty. You shouldn't be messing with these broke Negroes. You shouldn't be going around wasting your time. Like that wouldn't be such a popular idea and such a popular trend if there wasn't some validity to women wanting a finished product, Black women in particular.
It's harder on us. Help him level up. What? Stay with me. Help him level up and become what you need him to be. Because the big reason why these snow bunnies are running off with Black men is they're meeting them when they have nothing, but they believe in their vision. And Black women are waiting for him to cross the finish line.
So much. I mean, I have to give a shout out to Dr. Umar. He really is spin facts here. Again, I agree. I can't disagree with anything that he's saying. So a couple of things he said. These women are willing to help level up. They're willing to invest in that man. Already out the gate, already out the gate, you're going to have some black women be like, nah, he needs to be invested in me. He needs to be leveling up my life. He needs to be improving my life. He needs to be showing me. And so you're already going to have women hear that and then want to push back and be like, no, 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 no. This is all about, I'm the prize. I'm the one that's worth being worked for, right? And again, there is some truth to that. I do believe that women, obviously, virtuous woman is a crown on her husband's head. The Bible talks about this. Like, there is definitely truth to this. But there's been such an emphasis on figuring out how to extract resources from men, how to protect ourselves from men. Because again, you have to remember, a lot of black women go into the relationship dynamic not trusting men, being like, these men are going to take advantage of me. So because that's already the starting point of the conversation, they're therefore trying to figure out, how do I get how do I extract from this relationship? How do I extract from this man as much as I can while minimizing the potential of getting hurt? But the thing about that is, if you're going in with that mindset, you're not thinking about how you can provide value. You're not thinking about how you can improve that person's life, because some women really have fear that if they lead with that, if they start investing in that, then they're going to be hurt. They're going to be taken advantage of. They're going to be end up in a narcissistic, abusive relationship. Like, we are taught to not trust our men. We are taught to not value them. We are taught to not need them. And then we are told that if we do get with them, they need to basically give us the world. You know, all these different ideas that aren't really based upon real life and function in a functional family, because a lot of us didn't grow up seeing a functional family, right? So we're just making this stuff as we go. But so I think he's right with that. Now, on the flip side, and again, I'm not saying that every white woman grew up in a perfect family. Every white woman grew up knowing how to get along. Like, obviously there are traumatized, deeply problematic white people, right? So let's just start there. But what he again is speaking to is, honestly, what happens when a culture comes or still has in place a healthy, functional family system. Women knowing that they are to bring value to a man knowing that they are to bring value to the woman, and seeing it as a symbiotic relationship, right? Each person understanding their role, not necessarily seeing one as a need to compete, not seeing it as you're trying to one up somebody, but like really being set in, what does it mean to be a feminine woman? What does it mean to be a masculine man? Again, these are actually things that happen naturally when people are coming from a healthy, thriving source. That's been so broken down in the Black community, in the Black American community specifically, for a lot of different reasons. So in like the white community and the Hispanic community and these other communities where they do have their issues, but they have not necessarily been systematically oppressed or targeted in the unique way Black Americans do, they are not coming with all that extra baggage, right? Or they might have more of a foundational or basic concept of how to interact in a relationship, because they may have seen a two-parent household. So again, I think what he is saying here is true. And it's not because Black women are inherently, meant to be bad or fail at relationships. And it's not because Black women are inherently narcissistic or selfish. I think a lot of this goes down to a lack of understanding, a lack of training, bad messaging, hurt, and are just basically the long-term effects of coming from a community that has a lot of broken families. But let's continue on here.
Time he crosses the finish line, the snow bunny then snatched him already.
I disagree. I just think that Black women are willing to hold it down for the man. I feel like we're always there supporting them. And I think that, if anything, Black women get the short end of the stick.
Okay, actually, so on her point, I think yes and no here. I think understanding the foundation of the Black American family and how it was broken down from the core. We were taught to not trust each other, and that has long-term generational effects, because those beliefs and those patterns are passed down, and until they are aggressively rejected and replaced with a new value set, then you just can continue. The problem is, I think Black women have a tendency to hold it down for the wrong men. I don't think we really know how to pick good men when we're younger. Particularly, we don't, because like attracts like. How many Black women grew up in a scenario where they had a strong physical, emotional, and spiritual support from a mother and a father? How many Black women turned 18 with a solid, strong, healthy sense of self? Very small percentage. So you have these broken women now looking for relationships from a very broken, toxic, unhealed place. And so they are attracting broken, toxic, unhealed men. This is why, again, I'm just going off of my anecdotal experience. I'm just going off of what I've heard. But this is why I have talked to countless college educated Black men who said that when they were in college, or even in college now, they see Black women dating men who aren't in college, dating men who aren't pursuing higher education, which again isn't necessarily bad in and of itself. But it just depends upon what that person is doing. If they're going for a man who is maybe pursuing a lifestyle that's more exciting, a man who's running the streets, basically, a man who's maybe pursuing being an athlete or rapper or entertainer or whatever, if they are pursuing that type because he comes with a certain level of excitement that the guy sitting in the library who's studying for his exams may not bring, you are holding it down for that guy. You are holding it down to that guy who is going for his dreams to be a rapper or just basically just run the streets. You're holding it down, but you're doing it for a guy that may not actually be maybe worth it. Ideally, if you came from a healthy family and if you had a healthy sense of self, you would be able to tell really, really early on, this is not anything worth investing in. I don't need to be investing in a dude. I don't need to be holding it down for a dude who is trying to be a rapper, but they can't hold down a steady job. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to do that. Not as while I'm in college. Like, it's a better business plan. It's a better idea for me to maybe consider getting in a relationship with a dude that I'm actually studying. You know what I mean? Like, because she's saying, well, we're getting the short hand of the stick. You only get the short hand of the stick if you hold it down for a dude who ain't worth nothing. I doubt that Denzel Washington's wife is saying that right now. I doubt that LeBron James' wife is saying that right now. You know, like, think of these men who are successful in their own right. And then I know I'm using athletes and entertainers, but I'm just saying, come with me. Think of women who actually did believe in the dream of their husband and they supported them. They did not get the short end of the stick. They're riding with them from the beginning to the end. So as a Black woman, you only get a short stick holding it down if you're holding it down for a dude who don't need to be held down, a dude who needs to go off and handle himself and get his life. So, but I do agree that basically there needs to be more empathy, more understanding, I think, from Black women as far as understanding the place that Black men hold in society. And quite frankly, a willingness to work alongside them, to build with them. Because this whole culture of you're dating somebody who's 20 and the expectation is that he's going to give you a lifestyle like he's 60 and retired is unrealistic. It's more realistic and more likely, and actually a lot more common, and I would argue even more valuable, to get with someone young and build. Now, there might be times when, look, let's say you do it in American athlete or entertainer, you know, there's going to be those really small percentages out there. But in most instances, it's most likely for you to get with somebody and build a life that works best for you both. And I think that is so much more valuable versus, you know, just getting up all these toxic relationships, kind of getting ran through and then waiting for a man at the finish line, when at that point, there's going to be other women who were able to see his potential and spot him early on. So that's what I think. But I do think overall, really good, necessary conversation. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment section.